morning friends, I am Sidharth Ramkumar. I have gotten All India rank 4 in UPSC CSE 2023 and today we will discuss about 15-20 questions from the previous mains papers like GS 1 to 4. We will try to discuss how we can arrive at the answer, what are the structures we can use, and these are just some of my personal suggestions. If at all they are useful in some way to any of you, I hope it is used by at least some of you. So we'll start with the questions. We'll start with some questions from GS1. We'll go to 2, 3 and 4 accordingly. So we'll start with a few questions from GS1 initially. The first question that we've taken is explain the role of geographical factors towards the development of ancient India. So I'll just write. So we'll again start with, we have a basic structure, intro, body and a conclusion. So this is our basic structure. So how do we start? So what is the question? The question is the role of geographical factors towards the development of ancient India. It's a 10-marker question. It's a 10-marker question. So roughly we have to have 10 points in 2 subheadings, 5 points each or some in a suitable manner. And we can start with an introduction. Like, this is not a question we would have prepared on. So what is the instant reaction? Like, how do we start about? How do we go about with the question? How can we start the question? We can either start with where do we start the ancient India? We can start with whatever comes to our memory first, something like Indus Valley civilization, like how geographical factors like the riverine locations or coastal locations or the importance of plains and mountains or something that was important to Indus Valley. We can start with how it was geographical factors have been important right from Indus Valley civilization. That is one way to start it. Or another way to start is if you can remember any particular book or incident that is there in news, something like Sanjeev Sanyal Sir's book on the land of 7 rivers or something like geography, any interesting book that can be connected to history and geography in this question. You can start with that kind of a introduction, like a book. Or you can start with the early event in history like IVC, and so that's a reasonably good way to start the question. And next, coming to the body question, is the role of geographical factors towards the development of ancient India. So what are the geographical factors? We can talk about, one could be the role of mountains, the role of Himalayas, like obviously how Himalayas had a role in reducing the invasions into India, how we had a reasonably good independent civilizational history and development because of Himalayas, how the cold winds were blocked, how the invaders were blocked, and how multiple cultural and political invasions were restricted due to Himalayas. So that is one point, the mountains. Second is the rivers, like how the Indus Valley led to the development of Indus Valley civilization, or how the role of Indus, Ganga and the other rivers played a role in the Vedic civilization, or even how the rivers of the South India, southern civilizations, how they played a role in ancient India, how the mountains of Deccan Plateau or the plateau region in Deccan area contributed to the history of the region in that particular. You can take content from anthropology, archaeology, like whichever area, if you have some background in that, optional, you can take content from that area as well. So that is, so we've spoken about the role of mountains, we have spoken about the role of rivers, and then we can talk about what the plains, the Indus Valley, the Indus civilization, the role of plains, how the alluvium contributed to the rise of agriculture, that led to the rise of settled agriculture, settled civilizations, settled cultures. You can talk about different cultures like the ones that rose in Magadha, that rose in different regions of Indus Valley, in Ganga, etc. So that is also another interesting point. Then you can talk about the deserts, like how the role of Thar desert contributed to the culture there, how that contributed to the food there, that how that contributed to the development of any particular cultural trait there. It can be language, it can be culture, it can be architecture, anything. And then you can talk about trade routes, how we have multiple major trade routes across the if this is a very rough diagram of India, how we have major trade routes like this, and how the geography, how the plain region, how the geography of that region contributed to the trade routes, how that contributed to India being a major player in the world economic scenario of that time. Then we can talk about religion, how the growth of how geographical factors like rivers, like how Ganga played a role in the religion of Hinduism, or religion of in other religions as well, even tribal religions or folk religions, how there's a connect between Brahmaputra and some of the tribal cultures of southern India, or for that matter anything. It can be Himalayas, how the role of mountains played a role in some of the tribal cultures or folk cultures of Himalayan region, like how mountains of Himalayas, Himalayan mountains played a role in the Lepcha culture or Bhotia culture, something like that. You can add whatever comes to your mind, whatever you remember. And then you can talk about the different art events, be it architecture. You can talk about something like the language, something like dressing, as simple as something like dressing, and everything, because everything is part of ancient India, everything is part of the culture, everything is part of this thing, and somewhere there is a role of geographical factors as well. Although see, the point is everything is interconnected, be it in history. You can't put it in different watertight compartments as to this was separately, this is a geographical factor that individually or independently contributed to something. It is always, the geography is always intertwined with something in culture, something in history, something in the political development. So everything is intertwined, and the advantage of that is that something in culture can also be used in history, something in some cultural trait, some historical political fact can also be connected to geography and connected to the question. So that's how you can attempt this question in some ways. And then you can also talk about how urbanization contributed, or that also played a role in how geography contributed a role to the urbanization in the coastal areas, be it in the Indus Plains, be it in the southern South India, be it in the other western regions, and how that contributed to ancient India. Like how historically some places in southern India, like the coastal towns, be it in Chola Chera times, or be it in the a little more earlier times, like the Muziris or some other areas of the south, or some of the coastal cities, how they contributed to IVC, Indus Valley Civilization, and likewise. And then how can you conclude the question? So the question is, explain the role of geographical factors towards the development of ancient India. So you can talk about, so history, in history, a general thumb rule that I try to use is, you can start with a previous event and then you can connect it, you can end it with a later event, a successive event, a succeeding event. So here, because it's ancient India, you can only, in introduction, the possibility of using a previous event is less. But in the conclusion, you can try to connect it with medieval history, like how geographical factors led to the development of ancient India in the above mentioned ways, and how all of this set the stage for the development of medieval India, how this set the stage for the development of various cultural traditions in medieval India. And you can name a few depending on the time, depending on the space. So this is a reasonable way to address this question. So again, to simplify it again, it's a history question. The introduction, you can start with a book or something interesting, something in current affairs that has come, why it is important, why it is gaining a lot of mileage again, like why is it in news, why is it significant still, and that can be an introduction, or it can be a previous event, or it can be some basic idea setting the stage for the question, like and then body can be about what is the question demand, like role of geographical factors. You can divide it separately into physical factors, like geographical factors can also include human, like it can include physical geography elements as well as human geography elements. It can include a lot of factors that is part of the geography syllabus. So you can divide it accordingly. The subheadings can be made accordingly. So that's another thing. And then the conclusion can be, as I said, you can connect it to the next event in medieval history. You can connect it to medieval history, or you can alternatively connect it to present relevance. Like why is it that question is still relevant today? And why is it important for India? Why is it important for us? In that manner also you can approach the conclusion. So that's our first question for today. So we'll take the next question.
Hi, a very good evening to all of you. I hope prelims 2024 आप लोगों का सही से हुआ होगा. Now is the time when you should prepare for mains wholeheartedly. And to help you in assisting in this endeavor, वी आर कमिंग अप विद अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोग्राम नोन एज सिविल सर्विसेज एक्सेलरेटर प्रोग्राम। देखो मेंस में आपको हर कोई बोलेगा कि 450 नंबर जीएस 1 2 3 4 में आने चाहिए, ऐसे में 120 130 आने चाहिए, बट हाउ टू अचीव इट, वो करना कैसे है, कौन कौन से वो पिलर्स है जिन पे हम फोकस करने वाले हैं। तो पिलर्स देखो बहुत बेसिक है। फर्स्ट वी गोइंग टू इंश्योर दैट जो भी हम यहाँ करंट अफेयर की क्लासेस लेंगे दे गोइंग टू बी लिंक्ड विद द स्टैटिक पार्ट, सो दैट यू कैन गेट अ वेरी गुड अंडरस्टैंडिंग, चाहे यूपीएससी फिर बाद में स्टैटिक पोर्शन से पूछे या फिर करंट से, आपका अच्छे से कवर हो जाएगा। सेकंड इज अबाउट एथिक्स, कि आप एथिक्स अच्छे से कवर करिए, बोथ पोर्शन सेक्शन ए एज वेल एज द केस स्टडीज, एंड इफ यू डू इट प्रॉपर्ली यू विल गेट वेरी गुड मार्क्स। देन फिलोसॉफिकल एसेज, सबसे कम मार्क्स आजकल एसे में आने लग गए स्टूडेंट्स के, 80 90 100 तक मैक्सिमम लोग स्टॉप हो जाते हैं। तो हाउ टू इंश्योर दैट कि वो मार्क्स हमारे 130 तक पहुंचे, उसके लिए हम ऐसे फोकस करेंगे। एंड देन यू गोइंग टू हैव अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टेस्ट सीरीज व्हिच इज गोइंग टू इंश्योर कि यार अच्छे से आप प्रैक्टिस कर पाओ और इवेलुएट कर पाओ अपने आप को। एंड दीज आर द इंपॉर्टेंट एरियाज व्हिच वी गोइंग टू फोकस अपॉन। इनफैक्ट दीज आर द पिलर्स ऑफ मेंस प्रिपरेशन फॉर करंट अफेयर्स। A team of faculties including me, we are going to assisting you in each and everything. We'll have Rajvardhan sir, we'll have Neha ma'am, me alongside some other faculties will also be part of this. We'll focus on 3 areas, okay? जो टॉपिक बहुत स्टैटिक लगते हैं लेकिन वहां से करंट का क्वेश्चन हर बार आता है, जैसे लोकल सेल्फ गवर्नेंस, ऐसे क्वेश्चंस को हम पहले से ही संभाल के रखेंगे। सोसाइटी के बहुत सारे टॉपिक हैं ऐसे जहां से बार बार क्वेश्चन आता है, लगता नहीं है कि आएगा बट आ जाता है। ट्रेंड स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन, फाइनेंस कमीशन, क्लाइमेट चेंज, ऐसे ऐसे जितनी भी थीम है वो इसमें आएंगे। एंड थर्ड ईयर स्पेसिफिक। ईयर स्पेसिफिक मींस दैट इस साल जैसे मान लो साइंस एंड टेक में कुछ अच्छे डेवलपमेंट्स हैं तो यूपीएससी वहीं से पूछ लेता डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन, सो दोस काइंड्स ऑफ करंट अफेयर विल आल्सो बी कवर्ड। सो दैट्स व्हाई इफ यू वांट टू बिकम पार्ट ऑफ अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कोर्स, दिस इज द कोर्स फॉर यू। कि सारी आपकी करंट अफेयर की चिंता फिनिश। With respect to ethics, we have one of the most stalwart person, Atul sir. Atul sir has been teaching for more than 13 years ethics. है ना, जब से शुरू हुआ है 2013 से पेपर, तब से सर पढ़ा रहे हैं। And if you want to get his mentorship, then eventually जितने भी प्रॉब्लम्स आती है एथिक्स में वो सारी सॉल्व आउट हो जाएंगे, चाहे वो आपकी बेसिक कंसेप्ट है, कंटेम्प्रेरी एग्जांपल्स हैं, इफ यू नॉट एबल टू इंक्लूड द थिंकर्स इन द आंसर वो भी सॉल्व हो जाएगा। along with the answer writing is going to become very refined. In fact, he has already taken an orientation session. You can just watch it on our YouTube channel and you will get very good outcome for that. एथिक्स में जो होंगे लगभग 20 घंटे के आसपास क्लासेस होंगी, आपको PYQs वगैरह के लिए हेल्प की जाएगा, हैंडआउट्स दिए जाएंगे, अच्छे एग्जांपल जाएंगे, एंड प्लस मोर इंपॉर्टेंटली 1-to-1 मेंटरशिप इज गोइंग टू बिकम अ पार्ट ऑफ इट. सो एथिक्स इज वन एरिया वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. देन कम्स द एसे. In the essay, we are going to focus upon philosophical areas. तो पहले वहां पे आपको टीच भी करेंगे, me along with Manikant sir as well as Kapil Sikka sir. We are going to be part of this so that those of you who can eventually get the best out of yourself, आपको कोई भी रुकावट नहीं आनी चाहिए. So focus किस चीज पे रहेगा? Coverage of all the important themes which are there in the PYQs. और सबसे ज्यादा फोकस फिलोसफी पे ही करेंगे. Then handouts दिए जाएंगे, आपको एक्सपर्ट फैकल्टीज के साथ 1-to-1 मेंटरशिप भी कराई जाएगी. And as a result of this, you can score very high in the essay. लगभग 25 से 30 घंटे की क्लासेस होंगी, कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव हैंडआउट, कंपाइलेशन, वर्कशीट, 1-to-1 मेंटरशिप, सारी चीजें आपको अच्छे से दी जाएंगी. एंड इफ यू आर एबल टू अचीव इट, मेक श्योर दैट कि आप तरीके से उसको यूटिलाइज करें एंड फाइनली आउटकम लेके आए मेंस के अंदर. एंड फाइनली व्हेन इट कम्स टू टेस्ट सीरीज, ऑल द फैकल्टीज आर गोइंग टू बी टुगेदर टू इंश्योर दैट जो भी आपका एरिया होगा उसमें आपको अच्छे लेवल का हम आउटपुट दे पाए, आपको अच्छी मेंटरशिप प्रोवाइड कर पाए, चाहे वो GS 1, 2, 3, 4 या फिर एसए पेपर हो. So that's why you're going to have a test series also along with this, and in this test series we have to make sure questions quality, model answers, the discussion sessions, all of them they are top notch, so that इस साल जो मेंस है आपके लिए एक eventually game changer बन जाए and we are able to become a part of your success journey. This is the objective with which we are starting this program, and this program is going to be very useful for all those students who are eventually becoming part of the mains for this year. अभी prelims का रिजल्ट आने वाला है, so let us hope majority of you have worked very hard, आपका final call आ ही जाए. Many sessions are going to happen, some have happened like ethics का session has already been taken by Atul sir and June 25 was taken. essay का जो है 2 जुलाई को होगा. Answer writing template का जो session है it will be taken by the rank 4 of this year. It's going to focus specifically on paper 2, paper 3. Current affair की classes 28 जून को first होगी, it will be dealing with IR. इसकी सेकंड क्लास होगी वो नेक्स्ट वीक ऑन द जुलाई ऑफ 4th होगा. सो व्हाट इज रिक्वायर्ड फ्रॉम योर साइड, आप इन सेशंस का पार्ट बनिए. दीज सेशंस आर ओपन इन नेचर. ट्राई टू गेट योर डाउट्स रिजॉल्व्ड एंड वंस यू फील लाइक नहीं ट्रस्ट आ रहा है, कॉन्फिडेंस आ रहा है इस इंस्टीट्यूट पे, देन बिकम अ पार्ट ऑफ द प्रोग्राम एंड वंस यू बिकम पार्ट ऑफ दिस प्रोग्राम विल टेक केयर एवरीथिंग फ्रॉम योर साइड. Okay, so all the very best. If you have any query, any doubt, you can reach out to these numbers. These numbers, if you dial, you'll get the link to our counselors and they will help you out in understanding. If कोई डिटेल में आपको लगता है कोई issues लग रहा हो कि भाई ये मुझे समझ में नहीं आया अच्छे से, they will help you out with respect to that also. And for all the important kind of videos, you can stick to our YouTube channel and we're going to help you out in the whole UPSC civil services preparation. All right, all the very best. Thank you so much.